What is going on, everyone? Today we have a crazy situation, man. It's starting to feel like ever since Lil Durk got locked up, his whole circle has been falling apart one by one. People close to him getting caught up in the streets, and now tragedy just hit again. Reports out of Chicago say THF Bezu, one of Durk's closest friends and right-hand man, was shot and killed in broad daylight on the west side around 3 p.m. near 31st and St. Louis. A car reportedly pulled up and started firing rifle rounds. Bezu was hit multiple times in the chest and rushed to the hospital, but sadly it looks like he didn't make it. His friends been posting tributes all morning, pretty much confirming the worst. What makes this even wilder is how deep the history runs. This isn't just some random shooting, it's part of a whole trail of blood that's been going on ever since that Lil Zay Osama stolen watch situation, right? That one moment years ago, a video shoot gone wrong ended up sparking a war between THF 600 and Zay's people. Ever since then, it's nothing but retaliation. We've already seen THF TP get killed earlier this year, and Lil Zay's own homie DMG Lil Deuce was also gunned down just weeks ago. Every time someone drops, the other side claps back, and now Bezu's the latest fall in that cycle. It's a sad pattern, man. With Durk behind bars, it feels like the streets around him got even more unstable. People who used to be protected are now out there exposed. In Chicago, one wrong move and that can change everything. But let's just dive into the video, see what's going on.
Man, it seems like ever since Lil Durk has been locked up in the feds, his closest friends have been left out in the streets, exposed, getting shot left and right. Now the latest example apparently ending in tragedy. We got some absolutely crazy news coming out of the west side of Chicago, where Durk's right-hand man, THF Bezu, was reportedly shot and killed in a broad day ambush.
Out of Little Village, 3 men are in the hospital after a shooting. This happened around 3 this afternoon near 31st and St. Louis.
Apparently at first, reports were coming out of the city that Zhu was still alive after apparently taking multiple rifle rounds to the chest. However, judging by the fact that this morning many of his closest friends have been posting tributes, it seems like THF Bezu is officially dead. This is coming off a well-known THF member just last year getting gunned down in an area pretty far from their home, also in the west side of Chicago. As always, this shooting has come with much speculation, but it's hard not to see the blatant gang war happening in front of our eyes between two groups that have been very vocal online. THF's apparent most vocal op, Lil Zay Osama, has publicly implied that he's been putting belt to ass on THF after a well-documented incident of him getting his watches stolen by this gang.
2 watches got stole, about 5 lives got took. Y'all, how y'all ass wearing red again?
Okay, they gonna wear, yeah, nah, this time they gonna wear black. We gonna turn their ass to red.
While bodies have been dropped on THF's side, he recently lost a friend on this ongoing gang war, which has many people believing that it is directly connected to the shooting that took out THF Bezu. It also doesn't help that in his No Jumper interview recently and on IG, he was pretty much implying that 10 bodies were dropped on him getting new watches for that whole incident. So today we got to get into the crazy gang war that could be responsible for the shooting right now. But before we get into it, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna get into this video right now. Hit that notification bell and make sure you tap into the merch link in the description at staysafeworld.com and hit that hype button, man. We're gonna get into it right now with chapter 1. Let's go. Several gangs within the south side are known to have been beefing for years. This most recent war though has taken a life of its own, showing how people will literally crash out and die after threatening people on IG like it's nothing. This death is like the latest on the chain of death and violence that's been going on for months. But to even understand how things got to this point, you gotta start from the jump and understand the web of gang alliances that has people really willing to murk someone in a constant tick for tack. THF Bezu is a member of THF, aka Trigger Happy Family, a hybrid gang out of the Woodlawn area on the south side of Chicago, mainly from 46th to Woodlawn and 44th and Wells. They're mostly made up of Black Disciples and Mickey Cobras. The 46th set is predominantly BD and has strong historical ties to other sets like Oblock, 600, and 300 Lamron, where he has gotten close ties and is basically the right-hand man of Lil Durk. This tight connection also extends to 600. Unfortunately, their close ties plays an extreme role in exactly how he might have gotten murked because of an ongoing situation with another gang in the area and another artist by the name of Lil Zay Osama. Lil Zay Osama is also from the south side but repping 6300. However, he has close ties to Lil Durk after being signed to OTF while Lil Durk was still free. Unfortunately, there was a crazy incident that happened several years ago where his watches were stolen in a high-profile incident right before Lil Zay Osama went to jail for a switch that many people tie directly into a beef that caused a war between both 600 and THF versus Lil Zay Osama, which we're going to get into in this next chapter, chapter 2. There was a point when all of these sides were cool. However, everything took a turn for the worse when a video shoot apparently went wrong. Lil Zay Osama would actually go into detail in a No Jumper interview talking about an incident where he had a video shoot and invited a bunch of people from a group chat that were associated with OTF. That somehow got him associated with people from THF who pulled up. Apparently, somewhere in the night while he was sleeping, members of THF stole his watches, and that caused a whole domino effect with bodies dropping on both sides.
The situation with the watches, right?
I'm about to bring that up with your shit, right?
Yeah.
All right, so look, they be saying that some THF niggas took your shit, and then, they took one of your homies' watches and shit, and that's why you kind of fell out with OTF.
I never fell out with OTF. You get what I'm saying? This was the situation. The situation was we had an OTF chat, like where we all talking shit.
A group chat.
Where we pull up the video, each other video shoots and all this extra shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I hit the chat. I'm like, pull up to the video shoot. I'm in the rack. You feel me? Motherfucker, pull up to the video shoot. But like I'm telling you, it was niggas in this group chat outside of OTF, like these other different blocks. So two niggas from down there pulled up to the video shoot. I never had no problem with them, no bad vibes with them. So they come to the video shoot, we kicking it. Video shoot over, I leave. I go to my hotel room. Mind you, I get off the liquor, I'm drunk as now. You feel me? I'm in the hotel room, I go in the room, I fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? Every night I take my watches off before I take my chains off. You feel what I'm saying? Cause I always take my watches off and put it on the table because I be sleeping like this, or I use my hands to sleep. You feel me? So I took my watches off, both of them, and put them on the front room table. You feel me? I wake up the next morning, bro, like 7 in the morning, bro. My shit gone, you hear me? Now, I'm thinking back on last night. They came in the room and wake me up because we was buying something from them, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, bro, I get them the money for the shit while I'm kind of like sleep. You know what I'm saying? I get them the money and I fall back to sleep. I wake up. The shit gone from in the front room off the table. I'm flipping the whole room. Trying to see where everything at. Mind you, my cameraman was here and my homie was here.
Yeah.
You feel me? But them niggas was so slick. Bro them didn't even see them take it off the table. You get what I'm saying? Bro them probably thinking I still got my watches on or something. So now I'm calling these niggas. They merching on every dead homie in the book that they didn't take it, they didn't got it, they don't know what I'm talking about. I need to check my homies. They probably still, I said, bro, none of my homies would ever play with me, bro.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Ever. So now these niggas telling Smirk and them like, on woo, we ain't got to merchant on all they dead homies. You know what I'm saying? When you merch on your dead homies, you got to be for real.
So directly after this interview, he would basically go on live multiple times talking about how bodies were dropped after this incident. And he would actually go on live with his homie, which we're going to talk about later, Lil Deuce, saying that they would paint any person red that had to do with this whole
Y'all
incident.
ass wearing red again.
Fuck it, they gonna wear, yeah, nah, this time they gonna wear black. We gonna turn their ass to red.
Today it's a new nigga outside coming out of snitch. So what that make y'all? The rest of you is snitches too. You hear me? Facts. I'm out the way. Making music, getting money, just signed my new deal. But look though, this was before the deal. I swear to God. 2 watches got stole. About 5 lives got took.
Well, unfortunately, there would be multiple bodies that many people now realize could have been exactly connected to this whole incident. And we're going to get into it into the next chapter because there would be some crazy high profile incidents and killings on both sides. Let's get into it in chapter 3. In 2024, a tragic video would go viral of another THF member named THFTP getting gunned down in front of his wife and daughter, also in the west side of Chicago. On the night of Wednesday, February 7th, 2024, at approximately 6:41 p.m., Chicago PD would swiftly respond to a ShotSpotter alert and distress calls reporting a person shot at the intersection of Madison and Long on the west side. Upon arrival, law enforcement discovered Terrence, aka 30-year-old Chicago rapper THFTP, lying on the ground, having sustained at least 7 gunshot wounds to the torso. Urgently, he was transported to Loyola Hospital, where medical efforts proved futile and he was pronounced deceased. Since then, video footage basically came out of people pulling up to him while he was holding his daughter's school project, and he was unfortunately switched down in a crazy incident. Well, just later in the timeline, Lil Zay Osama would be talking about bodies that dropped for his watches. People would look back at that incident and think that he had something to do with it. Although it looked like they were definitely putting BTA on a bunch of people associated with those who stole his watches, retaliation would come back in the form of a shooting literally just a couple weeks ago with his homie, which has many people thinking that Lil Zay Osama was sacrificing his own members, you see, because Lil Zay Osama is not in Chicago right now. He's in LA, but other people who are around him are the ones that are unfortunately going to get caught up in this gang violence. And that's exactly what people thought when the shooting of DMG Lil Deuce. If you don't know, DMG Lil Deuce was the homie that he was on live with saying that they were gonna paint the city red. Unfortunately, he was gunned down in a separate incident just a couple weeks ago that we actually covered on this channel, which is the latest retaliation. And that has many people believing that it could resulted in the incident that happened just yesterday, which we're gonna get into in chapter 4. Let's get into it.
Little village. 3 men are in the hospital after a shooting. This happened around 3 this afternoon near 31st and St. Louis. Police say those victims were standing in a parking lot when a car drove up and someone inside started firing. One of the men was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The other 2 are expected to survive. So far, no one is in custody.
Apparently, rumors are going around yesterday that THF Bezu pulled up to the west side to an auto store to do some car repair. 3 men were in the parking lot at about 3 p.m. Saturday in the 3100 block of South St. Louis Avenue, one of which was him, when someone in a car pulled up and an occupant fired shots, police said. 1 man was in critical condition, that was THF Bezu, and apparently he died. The other 2 men are apparently in stable condition. The 35-year-old man, aka THF Bezu, was shot multiple times in the torso and taken in critical condition to Mount Sinai Hospital. There were reports that shells behind left evidence of rifle rounds, which many people showed that was not a good sign. And unfortunately, it looks like it was a terrible sign because he was not able to make it, with many condolences posters basically being put out. Man, this is a very sad scenario, and it kind of reminds me exactly of the THF TP situation because it's in an area that isn't in the South Side. So I guess people think that it's all good to just be out and about because they don't have beef. But if you're anywhere within the city of Chicago right now and you're associated with these people, or really in any gang, your head is literally has money on it, and you have to be careful at every single moment. And those moments that you are just loafing, just trying to fix your car and stuff like that, someone could just drive by and be like ready to just take you out. It's a very unfortunate situation. He's leaving behind a kid and a wife and stuff like that. But it just shows if you're even associated, the only people that are still around right now that are still like, 600 members and posted up, or just members that were in the original drill scene, are all like out of the city. Everyone else is either dead or in jail. Or just look at Durk. He was out of the city and is currently in jail. And ever since that he's been in jail, it seems like everyone around him has slowly either been caught up in the system or gotten gunned down too, man. But hey, let me know in the comments what y'all think about the situation. Real stay safe shit. You already know what's going on. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Peace.
But yeah, let me know what y'all thought about this whole situation, man. But it's crazy when you really take a step back and look what's been happening, because this isn't just another headline, another rapper gone, another name trending for a few hours. This is a reflection of something much bigger, something that's been brewing in Chicago for over a decade. You know what I mean? When the drill movement first started, it wasn't about fame, streams, or even clout. It was about survival. Young people finding a voice in a world that forgot them. Every bar, every lyric, every shaky YouTube upload was just someone trying to tell the truth about what life was like on their block. And for a while it worked. The world finally listened, but somewhere along the way the message got lost. What started as stories from the trenches turned into a competition, then into disrespect, then into revenge, and finally into a culture that can't seem to slow down. And the price, it's been paid in lives. THF Bezu's story is one of hundreds, but it hurts more because he wasn't just a name in the background. He was a part of the original wave that helped shape the entire sound of Chicago. He stood beside Lil Durk, 600, Oblock, Lamron, the archetypes of drill. You know what I mean? The same faces who inspired a generation of artists around the world. And now we're watching the same foundation crumble. Durk is sitting in the feds, fighting his own battles. Other members are either behind bars, on the run, or just gone in general. And for the ones who stayed behind, it's like the city turned into a minefield. One wrong turn, one stop at a gas station, one moment out of place, and everything can end right there, right? The thing about Chicago is that it's always been two cities in one. There's the skyline, the shining side you see in movies, concerts, tourism ads, and then there's the side that doesn't make it to the front page. The neighborhoods where losing someone young isn't a surprise anymore, where people where people light candles so often they don't even blow them out between vigils. Bezu's death hit different because it shows how fragile peace really is. He wasn't on a drill. He wasn't in a field starting problems. He's just trying to live, fixing his car, being out during the day, and still the streets found him, right? That's the kind of reality people outside the city can't fully understand. You can do everything right, move smart, stay out of the way, and it still might not be enough. People love to talk about the streets like it's a game, but when you lose your friends, your family, your peace of mind, what's left to win? How many names have been carved into murals before people start asking if this cycle can ever end? Because if you trace it back, most of it started over something small, a misunderstanding, a fight, a watch, one bad night that turned into a lifetime of revenge. And when you live in an environment where pride means more than peace, the smallest spark can burn down the entire block. Lil Zay Osama, THF 600, all of them came from the same struggle. They all wanted the same thing: respect, recognition, and a way out. But what's sad is the deeper they went into fame, the harder it became to leave the streets behind, because the streets don't forget, they forgive. And once you're in, even success can feel like a trap. When Lil Durk got locked up, it left a hole in the whole ecosystem. He was the glue that kept people connected, a reason to move differently. But once that presence is gone, everyone's just out there on their own again, right? They're out there on their own again, each person trying to hold on to a legacy that keeps slipping away. And we're here, another funeral, another headline, another rest in peace post, another reminder that Chicago fame can't save you, money can't save you, connections can't save you. The only real safety comes from stepping away, and even that's not guaranteed. But even in all this pain, there's something still to take away, because every story like this carries a message, and if you listen closely, you'll hear it. It's the voices of the kids still making music out of their basements. It's the mothers begging for peace on camera after losing another son. It's the fans online who see these headlines and realize it isn't entertainment, it's a warning. THF Bezu's name will be remembered not just for the music or who he rode with, but for the reminder that every choice echoes, that every action, every song, every post, every live can set off ripples you can never take back, right? The Chicago story ain't over yet, that's for sure. There's still time for everyone to break the pattern, to show that drill can evolve, that pain can turn into purpose, and that the next generation doesn't have to follow the same path. So rest in peace to THF Bezu, rest in peace to THF rest in peace to everyone who didn't make it out. And to everyone still here, stay sharp, stay safe, and remember that no amount of fame, no amount of numbers or views is worth your life, because the streets doesn't love anybody. But if you still got a chance to love yourself, that's enough to just walk away. Thanks for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, subscribe for more content, because it truly does help me out a lot. And if you agree, disagree with anything that I said in the video, drop your comments down below, because I truly do read all of your guys' comments. I'm not sure if I already mentioned this, but drop a like on the video if you haven't already. It helps the video perform well. So yeah, without further ado, peace out.